Welcome to Transition Night for upcoming 5th graders. Thank you so much for joining in to watch this video. In this video, we're going to be going over a quick review of the 5th grade curriculum. We're going to discuss how instruction is delivered in the 5th grade, and we're going to go over the 5th grade supply list. In 5th grade, we will have 4 main subjects and times of the day. The first is reading, and will begin at the very beginning of the day, and will include both reading and writing. Typically, during a reading block, they will have both whole group and small group learning. In math, we will again have a whole group lesson and small group instruction. Social studies, we're going to be learning about the U.S. history, and this time typically takes place between lunch and recess. And our last subject is science and writing. We get to start science as soon as we get back from recess, and it lasts until almost the very end of the day. Now, one thing I want you to notice here is that writing is actually integrated into every part of our day in 5th grade. It is not a separate subject because we're doing it constantly. Your child will have 3 writing assessments throughout the year, so we want to make sure to spread that writing out and teach it as we go along. Our first block that we're going to discuss is reading and writing. In 5th grade, students are required to not only read a text, but they're going to have to really analyze that text. They will be inferring what a text is explaining. In 5th grade, we don't have a lot of questions that are right there in the text answers, where you just literally touch the answer in that text. 5th grade is a lot of inferencing. Students are going to have to determine the theme of a story, drama, or poem, summarize what a book or passage is about, typically in one sentence, depending on the length of the book or passage. They are going to be comparing and contrasting constantly in 5th grade in reading, math, science, and social studies. They're going to be finding relationships between things in a book, determining the meaning of unknown words or phrases in text. And one big difference in 5th grade is we really focus on explaining why the author chooses to do things. Why did the author write this way? Why did the author choose the text structure they did? Why did the author write this character the way that they did? So we in 5th grade are not just looking at the simplistic version of reading, but we are digging deep. Students are going to have to determine the point of view of not only the author, but the character, and understand how their point of view can change the way the story is being told. Students will be analyzing multiple accounts of the same event or topic to find those similarities and differences. Again, going back to comparing and contrasting. And the last thing in reading that we're going to be doing is analyzing text and the visual representations that are included in that text. Again, 5th grade is about digging deeper into the reading. We're going to take everything that they've learned up until 5th grade and take it to that next level and make sure that these kids really not only can read the story, but can truly understand what they are reading. One thing that we really wanted to discuss now is Lexile levels. At Grace Chapel Elementary, we are using a program called iStation to determine reading levels. In the past, your students would have brought home levels like A, B, C, D, alphabet levels. Now our levels are in numbers. They're very similar to those guided reading levels that were alphabetic, but they're just in numerical form. We want to make sure that you understand what those numbers mean and how they actually relate to the EOGs and to the grade levels. Now, the good thing is, at the end of the year, you will be receiving an iStation report from your teacher in the report card. And on that iStation report, it actually tells your students' Lexile level. Students can continue to work on those reading skills even at home over the summer. The best way to improve their reading skills is by reading. We want to encourage these students to read any chance they get. We don't care if they are reading nonfiction books, books about sharks, books about tornadoes. if they are reading fictional text, historical fiction, The Magic Tree House, even graphic novels, as long as they are reading. We encourage them to not only read, but the more that they read and interact with what they're reading, the more that they're discussing those books, the better readers they will become. Back to this chart was actually provided by North Carolina. The levels that you see on the headings are levels for the EOGs. So we're thinking those EOG scores of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So at the end of fourth grade, for a student to be considered proficient based on their EOG levels, the student would need to be reading between an 865 and a 930 Lexile level. Now we understand these students have gone through a lot over the last couple of years because of this pandemic. We would love for all students to be there, but we also understand some might not be. We are wanting to just give you this information so that you understand the growth that they will need to make by the end of fifth grade. If we stay focused on that level 3, that proficient level, in fifth grade, students will need to be at between a 985 and a 1050. So there definitely is a jump in Lexile levels. If you want your your child to practice their Lexile level and try to improve over the summer, you can actually find lots of websites that will give you Lexile levels of books, and you can even go to your local library and ask for them to help you find Lexile levels or Lexile leveled books on their level for them to continue reading. Our goal in fifth grade isn't to see your child at a perfect level. Our goal in fifth grade is to see where they ended fourth grade and to see growth. You will hear a lot in fifth grade about a growth mindset, letting those students really understand that we want to see them grow. And if we can see a student's growth, we are going to celebrate that. So we want to make sure that they continue to read through the summer so they don't have any reading level loss. So please, please, please encourage your student to read this summer. Math in fifth grade is taking everything that they've learned up until this point and expanding it. We're still going to be working on word problems. In fifth grade, we do a lot of word problems, and they involve all operations. We will talk through a strategy for solving word problems and really make sure that your student knows how to use that strategy by the end of the year. We will be doing order of operations to solve problems. This is included in both word problems and standard. And for many parents, we know this as PEMDAS, so understanding what you do first in a problem. Students will also have to understand patterns and relationships in math problems and data. They will be taking their previous knowledge of place value and adding on the millions place and the thousandths place, thousandths being after the decimal. They will be asked to fluently solve multiplication and division problems that include larger numbers. One way that you can really encourage your student this summer is to practice those basic multiplication and division facts. While we do practice that in fifth grade as well, if they come to fifth grade with a really good understanding of that fluency of math facts, they will truly do better in math. In math, we are also going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing both decimals and fractions. And not only are they going to understand how to do it, they have to understand multiple strategies and visual representations that match those problems. In fifth grade, we do continue converting units of measure. In fourth grade, they talked about metric measurement. And in fifth grade, we add on customary and how we convert those units of measure. One of the biggest differences is in fifth grade, they are actually given a conversion chart and we learn how to use it. We are also going to be really looking at data, determining the type of data, looking at graphs, analyzing that data, and learning what that data means. In fifth grade, we really focus on a line graph. Students will also be encouraged to understand volume. Now, the volume that we do in fifth grade is 3 types. We do cubic units volume, so that would be a volume of something that literally has cubes inside of it. We look at volume using numbers, so understanding that length times width times height, or base times height. Understanding if they are given a volume, how to determine the possible numbers that could have made that volume, and looking at the volume of complex figures. So that would be like taking 2 rectangles and putting them together. We will also be looking at coordinate planes and plotting data points. And last but not least, classifying quadrilaterals. While I understand that this looks like a lot to learn, please do understand that this is taking their previous knowledge, that background knowledge that they already have from all of the grades leading up to fifth grade, and we are just expanding it, taking it to that next step. We understand that practice makes perfect. Just like we gave you a strategy for helping your students to practice reading during the summer, they can also practice math skills. The fifth grade team knows how hard that fourth grade has been on these students. We understand the struggles. So we want to make sure that these students are prepared when they come to us. We have created a class on a website called Khan Academy. This website gives videos to explain concepts, practice problems to allow students to practice, and small tests. If the student does well on the test, they move forward. However, if they do badly on the test, it will put them on another practice activity. For every practice activity, it gives hints that take them step by step through, and even videos to explain how to solve the problems. In the packet that you were given for transition night, it includes a page that tells exactly how to get signed on to our Khan Academy class. We've already set this class up to make sure that they are prepared for fifth grade. They won't be learning any fifth grade skills. However, they will be practicing all of the skills that get to this point to make sure that they understand every single part. And here's the good thing. These students will be praised when they come to school if they are able to practice. No one will get in trouble for not practicing, but those that do will be rewarded. In social studies in fifth grade, we are going to really be looking at an exploration of U.S. history. We start from the earliest explorers, the Native Americans, and move all the way through the Reconstruction after the Civil War. In fifth grade, we not only read about history, but we write about it. We act it out. We try to figure out why events in our history happen. They might even get to meet some historical figures like King George, and maybe even a pilgrim or two. Who knows what next year will bring? Science in fifth grade is a lot more intensive than they've had in the past. Students will be continuing their knowledge of force and motion, properties of matter, heat transfer, the water cycle, weather, and in weather, we are talking about all concepts of weather, including how to predict weather, ecosystems, the human body, and genetics. While a lot of these are things that they have learned in the past, we are taking it again to that next step. That is really what fifth grade is all about. Taking that previous background knowledge and expanding on it, learning more about it, and digging deep into these concepts. And yes, there is a science EOG in fifth grade. We're going to help your child prepare for this. They will be taking notes about each topic, doing experiments, studying, taking tests in science. We actually do science every day in fifth grade to ensure that all students understand these topics. Now, to move into how instruction is delivered, how will your child learn all these things? There will always be some sort of whole group instruction from your teacher that will include taking notes, anchor charts, something directly from your teacher. Students will also be included in small group instruction based off of data. In fifth grade, we look at data a lot. We take pre-assessments to see where the students are, and we group the students based on not only those pre-assessments, but small things that we do in class throughout the week. Because of this, groups will change regularly. Your student typically will not always be with the same students. It will totally be based off of where they are in that particular area. In addition to working with the teacher, students will be asked to work together. We ask students to learn to work in groups, to work together on problems and projects. This will not only help them to have an understanding of the topic and get extra practice, but it also will help them in that social skill, learning how to work together in a group. Students will always be given a chance for differentiated work. Differentiated work just means work on your student's level. Every student's needs are slightly different. Typically, this is done either through a computer program that specifically aligns what they need to their instruction or through something called a pathway, which teachers set up specifically for students based on data. Students will also be working independently at times. Independence is very important in fifth grade. We have to get them ready for that next step. So they will be asked to work independently on assignments and tests. And the last way that we deliver instruction is through remediation. After students have taken a test, we always go back and find ways to help those students, whether it be a pathway, which would be differentiated based on what they need, whether that be working in a small group during foundations time with a teacher, or whether that be extra tutoring during a different time. But remediation will always be offered. After using Canvas for this year, we have realized how amazing this program can be. It might not have started out as the best program, but once we figured out what it can actually do, it has become something that we love, our students love. It allows students the ability to get their assignments from anywhere, whether they are in the classroom, whether they are at home, or even if they are at Disney World. It allows students to have access to anything that they need at any time. On Canvas, we have teacher-created videos to help students if they're struggling. We have extra anchor charts listed in case they leave their notebook at school. They also have access to any of that missing work. All students at some time are going to have something missing, whether it be because they were absent a day, they didn't finish it, and having that work on Canvas allows students to find that without having to go to the teacher and ask, without having to dig through multiple stacks of paper. They literally click a button and go straight to that assignment. This program really helps students to become independent as we prepare them for the future. Now, in addition to what it does for our students, we have found out that it allows parents to have access. You can actually see exactly what your students are doing daily, what they have done or are missing, and what they will be doing. It allows you access into your child's school day, even though you can't be here. At the very beginning of next year, the fifth grade team will actually be sending home information and maybe even having some meetings to help parents to join their child's Canvas page, as well as to understand exactly how our Canvas pages are set up and how to use them. We want to make sure that you, as a caregiver, have an understanding of Canvas. Once you have that understanding and you can see all of the amazing things that Canvas has, you will love it as much as we do. Now, for what we all really want, that fifth grade supply list. As a parent, I know I could not wait for the supply list to come out so that I could go ahead and get the stuff when they were on sale. We know the earlier that you get it, the better chances you get at finding everything you want and getting it at that good price. These are all of the items that your student will need in fifth grade next year. We ask for 2 packs of loose leaf paper, Clorox wipes to help with cleaning, a 5-star Flex hybrid binder, and I'll explain why I'm being very specific on that in a moment. Paper reinforcement stickers. This is one of those things that you don't think about until your child's papers keep falling out of their notebook. If the students already have these and they are taught how to use them effectively, it allows them to become independent, and when they notice a paper starting to rip, they fix it immediately without even being asked. This helps them to stay more organized and helps the caregiver to know what all these papers are. We do ask that students bring in Kleenex, a 1 centimeter grid paper composition book, and again, that's something we'll discuss in a moment. 2 glue sticks, a pencil box or pouch that students can keep all of their supplies in, a highlighter set of multiple colors, a pair of scissors, at least a pack of Expo markers. We do ask that they have several Expo markers because they enjoy using them. In 5th grade, we write on our desk, we write on whiteboards, and it gives the kids the opportunity to make a mistake, fix it immediately, and they love using them. I also want to go back to the highlighter set. I did forget to mention one thing. We do ask that when you do buy highlighters, please buy a set of highlighters in multiple colors. In 5th grade math, we use highlighters constantly for those visual representations of our math problems. If they don't have multiple colors, it really makes seeing those problems difficult. So we do ask that they have multiple colors. The next item is Ticonderoga pencils. We are being specific on type. Ticonderoga last a lot longer. They work better in the pencil sharpeners here. They stay sharper longer and the erasers work better. So we do ask, please, there are multiple types of Ticonderoga. You can get them in colors, black, yellow, but we do ask, please, to get that type of pencils. The last 2 things are something to color with. We know that students have different preferences. Some love colored pencils, some love crayons, some love markers. We don't really care what they're using as long as they have something to color with. Now, we do ask if you do get markers, please get these small markers. Don't get the really big ones because students might have areas where they need to color in a very small area. And if it's a really wide tip marker, it's more difficult to do so. And if students are the type they want to have multiple ways to color, they can definitely do that. The last thing is a good set of earbuds or headphones. While I realize you can go to Dollar Tree and you can get a pair of earbuds for $1, those tend to break very quickly. Because we do allow for differentiation in a classroom, we need them to have a good set of earbuds. For some students, it might lead through differentiation into watching a video of the teacher re-explaining a concept, doing something to remind them, or for some, it even might be they might be past a 5th grade standard and need a 6th grade standard. They will be asked to go to Khan Academy. They will be looking at the 6th grade standard, and they have to be able to watch videos to do so. Unfortunately, because of our class size, we can't have everyone listening to different videos at the exact same time without earbuds. So please, please, please get a good set. We don't care if they're earbuds, headphones, Bluetooth, wired, whatever you think that your child will be able to keep up with and will last. Now, to explain those exact items that we asked for, the first is a 5-Star Flex hybrid binder. This binder is something I actually found on accident. My daughter found one at Target because I was the parent shopping way too late to get the good deals. She begged me for it and I bought it for her. My child, not easy on things. She breaks everything. Her notebook actually worked with her and has lasted through 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade year. And in addition to that, I actually have that same notebook in my classroom and I use it now that she is no longer in high school. It comes with some great things. The first being the picture in blue. The rings on these 5-Star Flex binders are flexible. They are not metal, which means you don't get that snap when they close. Unfortunately, that has led to many bloody fingers over the years. It also allows for them to smush it in a book bag and it not break. It doesn't become misaligned, which allows those papers to fly out. The second picture shows another great thing. This notebook can turn into a flat surface. It acts just like a composition book. It bends. It has cloth on the edges, which allows it to completely fold flat, which allows for students to take those great notes and fold it right back into their binder. Another great thing is it actually gives you paper and dividers included. So while it might look a little bit more expensive, you are saving a little bit of money because you don't have to buy the binders and the dividers and paper. It gives you that all in one. And the great thing about these dividers, they actually allow you to keep paper inside of them like a folder. And because of the way it's constructed, the papers stay where they need to be. I have included a front picture of what it might look like. This one does say 1 inch. We do ask that it is at least an inch. They do go up higher. I believe you can get a 1.5 inch or a 2 inch binder, but we do ask for at least that 1 inch because they will be keeping all of their reading, math, science, and social studies notes inside of this binder. The composition book and the loose leaf paper and the dry erase markers are what they will be doing their work on. So all of their notes are in one place, one binder, which means anytime you want to know what they're learning, ask them to see their binder and you will be able to see. The last specific item was the 1 centimeter grid composition book. In math, we only allow fifth graders to use gridded paper. This is for many reasons, a lot of which come down to those visual representations. We want students to have a composition book of this type of paper so that they can keep good examples of how to work out problems. A lot of these gridded composition books, if you are not careful, come in college rule or 1 inch rule. In fifth grade, we use 1 centimeter. College grid paper is way too small. Students have a very hard time seeing and understanding anything done on that type. And 1 inch paper is the exact opposite. It's really for younger kids, students that have really bad writing issues that need that bigger paper. We want them to use the 1 centimeter, not only because it's the right size, it's a great size, and it gives them lots of space to work, but it's also what they will be seeing on any test. So we do ask that you get at least one of those gridded composition books. Thank you so much for staying with us, watching this, and we cannot wait to see all of the students in the 2021-2022 school year.